they don't make this. Sorry about that.
All right, it's me.
Okay. So, you got to know your why, keep your head into it. I remember, and this is a long time ago, probably back in 2002, but I remember flying down to Arizona, taking time out of my own personal production to go field train a recruit that I'm pretty sure Peter found for me back in the day. And I remember spending time, getting our butt kicked, all that good stuff, and coming back. And I can't remember how long it was, but they quit. And I just remember thinking it was like a gut punch, like, oh my gosh, that was just really frustrating. I remember being parked along the side of the road. And at that time, my management team was really small. So when somebody on my management team would move on, that really hurt too. And I remember talking to Peter on the side of the road, heading to territory, and talking about this key leader that was going to be somebody I was going to build around, that definitely had one, probably both feet out the door, heading to something else, and how frustrating that was. And we've all been there, right? So I want to share along with those lines, this is a really great book. If you haven't had a chance to, especially if you're a football guy, sports guy or gal, and football gal. My wife loves football, by the way, which is awesome. The Mentor Leader by Tony Dungy is a really great leadership book. And he talks about in there, really the key part he pulls out of there and talks about over and over again, is he constantly asks himself, what can I do to make other people better, to make them all that God created them to be? What can I do to make other people better, to make them all that God created them to be? And that's, of course, professionally. And that's very important to help them build the skills to be successful in our business. But also, I challenge you and challenge myself as I speak that we need to be helping others personally with their things that are going on. And that's what really takes this career to a whole nother level, is we're a big family. And families messy, ugly at times, frustrating, but very wonderful overall. And getting in the trenches with your people, again, not only professionally but personally, to help them be the best they can be, is really awesome, and a big part of what we do, of course. So here's some quick reminders. And again, you guys, I'm sure, do this stuff, but I just want to remind us, don't forget about the 2-day blank rule. As a leader running your business, that is a key thing. If somebody has 2 days in a row where they blank, they need to be with somebody. They need for sure a call, PC, whatever they need. But that is not, you got to monitor that with your stats. And that's the next thing. You guys have an amazing website, stats website. So making sure people are putting their stats on the website, doing the little things. I always love the small hinges move big doors, and things like the 2-day blank rule, stats on the website, not real sexy and glamorous, but the little things we do help us perform at a high level and do things, hit our goals and so forth. So these are really small but mighty things. Next one, attend as many meetings as you can. By the way, as I share these things with you, one other plug, not only do you need to probably hear these things again, but hopefully you're sharing these things with your team members, your leaders in your teams, as you're building your businesses. So again, as Zoom calls, I applaud you for being on this morning, face-to-face meetings, family heritage functions. I remember at times in my career, somebody said this, where just get to the next meeting. And I remember times in my career where that's all I could do because I was so frustrated and challenged with this business. I just got to make it to the next meeting. Now, I haven't felt that way for a long time, but I remember that early on building the business. So meetings are so important, to be around people, getting on Zoom and so forth is great. We are in business for ourselves, but we're not in business by ourselves. And thank you for that. There's been lots of times where Van, for example, has helped me through some tough stuff, and hopefully vice versa. And we all need each other. Next one, lead by example and be unselfish. I'll share a couple stories in our group. A lot of you know Cheryl Carpenter. She's a top producer. I know in Q3 last year, she shared with me, she wrote about 69,000 of personal sales. Well, she gave away about 9,000 that quarter to other agents, just doing the deal and being very unselfish, helping others do well, because it'll come back to you at some point. Keep it simple with new agents. Catch them doing things right. Two or three great things that they're doing, and one thing to work on. A lot of these things, again, are reminders. Have a minimum of 2 to 3 in-depth PCs a quarter. Definitely starting the quarter, mid-quarter, and end of the quarter. And there's outlines for that. I'm pretty confident Van's got that stuff to you, but it's, we're so busy, it's easy to kind of push some of the stuff to the side. But this is really an important one. People need to vent, share, let their frustrations out. And you definitely do that on a weekly basis, but having 2 or 3, I think 3 is good, really face-to-face Zoom, where you really dig into their business and talk about their goals and so forth. Also with that, and by the way, we're about mid-quarter. So next week would be a great time to schedule some mid-quarter PCs with your team members. Next one there, leaders. Oh, last thing too. I've gotten away from this, to be honest with you. Figuring their income with those PCs is very, very, very important. I was in the field with a agent, one of our key leaders, and we were grabbing a coffee, whatever, and asked her about her goals, and then went through and worked out the numbers and the bonuses and all that. And I could just see the excitement just go up as I talked to her about that. And even I mean, I need it too. I get excited still being in the business, seeing the opportunity financially and what that can mean for my family and giving away and so forth. So don't forget to figure the income. Next one, leaders are readers. Who's reading some great books out there, great podcasts. I'm sure you all have some great stuff and share those. One I'd share with you I'm a big Craig Groeschel fan. If you have not listened to any Craig Groeschel, I encourage you to Google that, check out his leadership podcast. Once a month, he drops about a 20-minute podcast or video on some leadership stuff, and I've really connected with him. He's dynamite if you haven't had a chance to listen to him.
Craig Groeschel?
Yes, Groeschel, Groeschel. Craig Groeschel. So good stuff, really good stuff. In fact, I've shared his last video, again, is about 18 minutes long, with our Kansas leaders a couple weeks ago, and it's really, really good. And then last but not least, and I'll get into my major stuff, schedule time in your busy day to sharpen your own saw as a leader. And that kind of ties in with that, leaders or readers. But, gang, we're busy. We're all busy. And this is really a weakness of mine too. I just go, and I've got this to do and this and make this call, whatever. But it's really hard for me to schedule in time to read a book or to listen to a podcast or watch a video. And but it's so important. We've got to keep our saws sharpened as leaders. And one of my old mentors in the book business, Roy Lofton, Roy was always really good about, each time it seemed like I would meet with him, he'd have something new to share from a book he had just read or whatever. And I think that's just so important to have new material to share with our team and so forth. So definitely take time to become better at your trade. All right. 3 key points here, and I'll kind of quickly go through these. Number 1, communication is key. Lots of times when there's a problem, 95% of the time, I think we can go back to a lack of communication. If there's some type of issue, some type of problem we're dealing with, at least in my world, it really boils down to communication. And there's really several different lines of communication I could talk about. I'm just going to hit a few of them with you today, but one of them, of course, is with our new agents. Building that relationship quickly to build trust is so, so important. Of course, finding out their why they're in the business, what they want to, what's their vision of their business, what are their goals, what are the things they want to achieve. Taking time to really ask good questions to get to know them personally, their family, what really drives them, some things in their past, just really getting to know them. One of the reasons personal recruits do better typically in our business compared to mass recruits goes back to trust. Good communication is so important. And I'll give you a quick example on story in our business. Stacy Caton, you wouldn't know Stacy, but she's done quite well. She's only been here about a year. And I won't get into it, but there's things her first year that were more challenges than she probably needed to go through, just with territory, just some different butting heads of things. And just me personally, I personally messed up as a manager with some things with Stacy. And I'm pretty confident if she would have been a mass recruit, she would not be here today, because there was just several things that were really challenging and messed up with her situation. And she is here today. In fact, she wrote 4 or 5 policies yesterday, I think. But a big reason she's here today, and it's not me, it's not the leadership team, our great organization, it's Jennifer Collins. She's a personal recruit of Jennifer Collins, and they've been best friends for a long, long time. But that relationship was strong enough to fight through some of these headaches, some of these problems that Stacy had to go through, largely due to Jennifer Collins' relationship. So that's big. Another part of communicating with a new agent is being real and also staying positive. And that can be really tough. This is an emotional business. This is a challenging business, and we all have emotions. And there's times to share emotions and times not to as a leader. And that could be a whole nother topic. But my point with that is just be smart about your business. And we called it puking up in our previous business, where, if you're really frustrated as a leader and challenged, you want to talk to your mentor, not to somebody you're leading, to possibly change their day. I would just never want to be frustrated and kind of puke on somebody, my frustrations, that they're having a great day, and all of a sudden after they talk to me, they're down, they're not as excited about the business. And also they're looking at you as a leader. And again, there's times to be emotional and times to be that rock and to be that firm foundation for them. But if they see some of the frustrations that you're having, that could affect them. And some of that's good. Don't get me wrong. They need to know you're human. But I think you get what I'm saying. But just be professional about that. And again, Van's there for you, other mentors in the business where you can, voice your frustration and so forth. And we all need to do that. And, leadership is a lot like a duck. And we're calm on the surface and we're paddling like crazy under the water. And y'all can relate to that if you've been around for a while. So we're calm and collective. We're confident as leaders at meetings and so forth at most of the time. But they don't need to know all that's going on all the time. And we're dealing with an issue, and we've got to deal with this issue, and boom, we've got to be the best we can be for this other person. So we've just got to be focused and be like a duck. So hopefully you can remember that analogy this week. Next one, number 2, is law of abundance. This is another big one, another key leadership principle that's helped me grow the business and have a lot of success over the years, is law of abundance. And I need to hear this just as much as you. But as we deal with situations, we've got to keep that law of abundance mentality. And just in the field, Todd Stiles, for example, Todd would sit down with people that I couldn't sit down with, and vice versa. We all relate to different people. So territory, law of abundance, dealing with other agencies, agents in your territory, all that stuff. If you can keep that mindset that there's plenty of people to talk to, there's plenty of people to recruit, that can really help you have a healthy business. I always think of Amanda Arndt, and again, this was probably last year at some point I heard this, but I think she had at one point like 9 or so agents in her small town working with her, and that just blew me away. I remember talking to Michael Cheney. Michael's been around for a long time, and I might be off on the numbers a little bit, but he worked pretty much his career in a 3,000 person county or something crazy like that. And I just always was like, wow, that's just amazing to me. But just having that law of abundance, there's plenty of people out there to build your business, can help take a lot of stress out of your life as a business owner. Last point real quick is acting like an owner. So here's a question for you. How do you answer when someone asks you what you do? So think about that with yourself. When somebody asks you, what do you do? Now, of course, when you're in the field, we say, hey, we're with Family Heritage, Globe Life Family Heritage. But, socially, when you're at the bar or a coffee shop or whatever, when somebody, a friend or whatever, asks you, what do you do? How do you answer that? What's your mindset? Hopefully you answer, hey, I'm an owner. I own a business. When you own something, you treat it a lot differently than when you rent something or are an employee type situation. I think of a rental car. I treat my Rover a lot different than I treat a rental car, for example. Owning a business, you'll just treat it differently. And with that, hopefully everybody on the call has named their business. That really can take your business to another level when you literally name your business. And at some point, maybe you become an LLC or an S Corp and take it even to another level. Those little things over time can really help you with mindset, confidence, and so forth. So owners, how do owners think? Step back and look at your business. If we always do the things we've always done, we're typically going to get the things we've always got. So how's your business going? As an owner, what do you need to do to change up your business? Maybe it's going great. Keep doing what you're doing. That's awesome. But if it's not quite where you want to be as an owner, what are the obstacles getting in your way? What do you need to change up in your business to help get some things going with your business? For example, do you need to hire an administrator with your business? I'm not saying you have to, but do you need to hire somebody $10 an hour to take care of certain things of your business to free you up to do other things that are more productive for your business? Remember, one agent can literally change your business. It's one thing I love about this business. So with recruiting as a business owner, hopefully things are going well, but if they aren't, what do you need to do differently in your business to get that kind of going? Personal recruiting is the best. So are you personal recruiting? I'll give you an example of our group. Kelsey Burney is one of our top leaders, and 5 of her 6 on her roster are personal recruits. And she does a little bit of mass. Jim eagled his first week. He's a mass recruit. Nicole eagled her second week in the business. She's a personal recruit. I could go on and on about her successes, but lots of personal recruits. And then field recruiting. How is that part of your business going with field recruiting? Jackie Dirks, you've heard that name. She field recruited a lady, Dawn Shackelford, recently. And just Dawn's, I think, in her 3rd or 4th week, but in her first 2 weeks, I think she's in 4th week, her first 2 weeks, she wrote over 7,000 in her first 2 weeks. She's a field recruit. Do you schedule in time to do the power hour that they teach at FHLA and so forth? And then mass recruiting is last but not least, and you definitely need to be doing some of that also. But I'd say personal recruiting, field recruiting, and then mass recruiting are key to your business. Last but not least, do you work with yes cards with group businesses? What niches are you into? You've got these niches figured out. Okay, as a business owner, what are some other niches we can kind of figure out to get more going on the sales side of our business? So again, it goes back to that ownership mentality. Don't ever put yourself in a box and limit yourself. There are plenty of businesses out there, plenty of recruits out there. to really grow this year and have a phenomenal business. So gang, that's pretty much what I have. I'm up to about 30 minutes or so. I don't want to go too long here, but I'll just close on this. Yeah, in our agency, I look at each of our agents as business partners to help build a huge business. And I know Van does that also, and help them live the life of their dreams. And I hope these tips and some of these reminders were helpful for you to apply in your business very quickly. I've heard, if you don't do something within, 24 hours, you'll probably forget it. So I encourage you to at least take one or two of these tips and apply them very quickly today, for sure, first and next week. So gang, I hope this helps. It was awesome spending some time with you. I'll turn it back over to Mr. Davenport.
Thank
Curtis,
you, Curtis.
thank you. Thank you for that. That was amazing. Hey, I got a quick question for you. And guys, if you have a quick question, it's good to rapid fire it here. Leaders ask good questions. One thing they do, and they get the right answers when they ask the right questions. But I'm just curious, Curtis, can you expand on the power hour idea real quick? Because I don't think that's something that any of us are doing right now, and I'd love to hear about it.
Yes. So basically just an hour out of the week that you specifically focus on field recruiting. So you walk into businesses not to set up as a sales situation or protecting families. You literally walk in and talk about looking for sharp people they know in the community, maybe somebody that business owner worked with in the past, or a friend or another, owner or whatever. So yeah, it's just specifically focusing in on recruiting for that hour and walking in businesses. They just call it the power hour. And I'm pretty sure there's a sales talk with it. I can get it from Kelsey and shoot it over to you, Van. But yeah, it's pretty simple, but yeah, it's great. I've seen
Yeah,
it.
if you would, that'd be great. Thank you, Curtis, for that. That is awesome.
Hey, Curtis.
I think it's in the 201 leadership manual.
Yes. Very good. Thank you.
Curtis, it's Todd, man. It was great seeing you guys in Cabo for sure. Two things. Number one, I always lead with, hey, what do you do? I tell everybody I'm an exotic dancer. And then number two, I went ahead and ordered a few copies of that book. So I appreciate the recommendation. We're always looking for great reads. So thank you, man. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Great seeing you guys.
Curtis, thanks again, man, and have a rock and roll day. I know you will.
Awesome. You guys too. Keep it up. You guys, we're trying to stay in the same area as you guys. You guys are kicking butt. Keep it up.
Oh, thanks. You're too kind, man. Guys, we've got a couple of minutes left here, but I'd love to just real quickly, can we just go around the horn? I'd love to hear one. I've got 1, 2, 3, 4 pages of notes right here. I'd love to hear what's one. I know Brian and Casey, you guys are driving. So if you can think of something off the top of your head, but just take a look through your notes, guys. It's kind of like Curtis just mentioned at the very, very end. He did without naming it. What he talked about was the law of diminishing intent. And guys, that is a law that states the more time goes between an idea and implementing the idea, the less percentage chance that you're going to implement it. So if you heard something today that struck a chord with you, if you implement it within the next hour, there's a good chance there's going to be some positive change in your business. If you let the day go and the weekend comes and next Monday you hadn't done anything with anything that Curtis shared, there's a really good chance that nothing's going to change at all. So just real quickly, I'm not going to call names, but if we can go around and have each person just share one item that you highlighted or took away or underlined that from what Curtis just shared.
Van, for me, it's a power hour to go out with just the intent, not to make sales, but to go out and just, find a field recruit. I think that's pretty cool because most of us, I don't have that focus sometimes. So maybe instead of going out and going, all right, this is all the stuff I got to do, I'm just going to go. My only focus is in this hour is to find a field recruit.
Thank you, Todd, for that. That's awesome.
I like the idea of scheduling time, sharpen your saw, making sure it gets done, putting it on the calendar.
Yeah.
It was just changing your mindset. When someone asks you, hey, what do you do? You're a business owner. You're not a insurance sales agent or something, or whatever you respond as. You're a business owner.
Guys, we all own our own, own our own insurance brokerage. I mean, that's pretty cool, right? It feels good to say that, right? Kind of makes you proud versus sell cancer insurance. You want to clear out a room, say that, right? Cancer. Oh, really? Look at the time. Woo! Nice to meet you, Josiah. Oh, that's good. Thank you for sharing that, Josie. That's a big time mindset, man. Mindset.
I think for me personally, it was just, one recruit can make a big difference in your career. I think that's important because we all kind of fly through. I mean, every week people are coming and going. So, sometimes it just takes that one person to change the directory. It's no different than a day can make your week kind of thing. So that stuck out to me.
Guys, one recruit can change everything. You're right.
Casey, did you say directory or trajectory?
Trajectory.
Okay.
Dan, my takeaway from that call was just leaders adding value. Because I recall so many times where, in the early stage of the career, and still to this day, I mean, but more so back in the day when, for example, you would come out in the field and work with me. And I remember I just asked you one day because I was just, pretty much had a rough maybe week, and you came out with me on a Thursday, Friday, maybe. And I just asked you, I just remember I turned and looking at you because every situation we came across, you looked at it and you turned it, you spun it into a positive, like, oh, and just kind of laugh those moments off. And I just remember asking you, I was like, man, how are you so positive all the time? And it's just, you opened up and basically just shared that, I wasn't necessarily always this way, but I choose to. And, just some of the things that you've shared with me along the way. And it's just like, you're always providing value to the group. And you've opened up about that and just shared that, a lot of that stuff, I mean, it's not your content, but you read books and you always try to just add value based on the things that you read. So that was probably one of the biggest takeaways I had.
Thank you for sharing that, Brian. BJ, you're the last one, dog.
I would say for me, I mean, just leading by example and just being unselfish to always just give back. Just like, I guess, to back off what Brian was saying about you, how you're just always giving back to us, constantly reading. And when you think of stuff, giving it to us like right away and not waiting until you forget about it. That's what I took away. I mean, and all of those things, all the things he gave us about just being taking ownership, acting like an owner, just constantly sharpening your own saw, taking time out for that, just keeping it simple with your new agents, not making it too hard on them, and just giving them the basics to be successful. Took a lot away.
Right on. Thanks for sharing that, dude. There was a lot of big takeaways in that thinking like an owner part. How do owners think? If we always do what we've always done, we're going to always get what we've always had, right? And he even brought the part up about do I need an administrator? Guys, how many things are we doing in our business that a 10th or an 11th grader could probably take care of, and we pay them $10 an hour and then free ourselves up to go do $75 an hour stuff or $149 an hour stuff. Or, we all did that little exercise on what our time's really worth between new commissions, renewal commissions, bonuses, and all that. Guys, our time's valuable. We need to do as leaders the things that we and only we can do. Okay. And those are things like have those PCs, train people, show people, have these important conversations with folks. Not $10 an hour stuff. So lots of good stuff on there, guys. Kurt, he also did mention, guys, next week is the middle of the quarter. So guys, it's mid-quarter PC time. I would encourage you, don't wait to get my, quarterly email reminding us to set up mid-quarter PCs and the outline and all, you guys already have the outline, right? You already know when the mid-quarter is coming up. I would reach out to people today. Again, guys, this is week 6, right, of the quarter. Quarters are 13 weeks. So at 6.5 weeks, that means next Wednesday, guys, that's halftime in Q1. Go ahead today and reach out to people. Don't call them up the day that you want to have the people. Hey, can we meet today? No, it's too late. There's no thought put into it. It's reactive. And let's be proactive and schedule it, and then let them know what we're going to want to chat about, and so they can put some thought into it and really bring some value, and have those actually create some change in what we do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Guys, this is the last piece that I wanted to share with you guys. And I had a coaching session yesterday, as I do every other Thursday at 11 a.m. with my coach, Gary Michael. And one thing that he's who I get to puke on, right? So I said, Gary, we're hemorrhaging right now. We're losing easily a third, maybe close to half the people that we're hiring just aren't moving through the process, even though I'm telling them, hey, you have 2 weeks from today to have at least taken your exam. And he asked a bunch of different questions, gave me some things that I can say to people that I'm going to start doing and saying differently. One thing, though, that he mentioned is, hey, what's going on? I mentioned that, Nicole manages the pipeline. We have a short little laundry list of things that we as leaders need to be doing with our new hires too, to build the relationship, emotionally prepare them for what's coming up. Because guys, when people come into business, and when they take 6 weeks to get a license, they normally don't ever finish, right? Or those that do and aren't met with before, they come in and they're just not emotionally prepared, and they quit in week 2 or 3 anyway. So guys, unless we want that to continue happening, we have to change some things, right? Curtis said in there, if we always do what we've always done, we'll always get what we've always got. So we need to do some things differently to get different results. Otherwise, that's insanity, right? So guys, one of the things that I am now doing, and I know that Brian and Casey and Maria and BJ, you guys, whenever I hire someone, I know where they physically live, and I let them know that, hey, you're going to be working with Brian Glazinski. He works with everybody that I hire in North Carolina and Virginia, and also you're going to be getting help from, you're just outside of Roanoke, Virginia. You'll also be working with Maria Klusinik, the Ginger Ninja. Let me tell you about her. And I really build you guys up. Okay. And then I also pass along your contact to that new person. And I say, call Nicole first, get set up for licensing and get your new email set up. Then I want you to call and introduce yourself to Brian, leave him a voicemail. Don't text him, call him, right? And then I want you to reach out to Maria, touch base with her, get to know each other. One thing that Maria is going to want to cover with you is the Protect One Family Creed, really going through the expectations of what you can expect from us and what we're going to expect from you. And guys, this is the Protect One Family Creed. I emailed it out to you yesterday, and I tweaked it just a smidge to add a couple little things. And I'm going to go through this really briefly because we're up against it with 3 minutes left. But guys, this is something that you need to physically have 10 copies of it in your leadership notebook. Okay. One in each tab, and don't just have one and then you just kind of read it or shoot from the hip, but have one of these for each person, right? Your pre-sales academy checklist, have a checklist for each person and go through and physically date when you cover the things. And keep up with it. Don't just have one and shoot from the hip and, I think I covered this with Bob, and I'm not sure if I covered that one. Be an owner. Make sure we do. Systems are in place to make sure that important things get done. But the Protect One Family Creed, guys, real quickly, this session, whether it's with a close friend or a new acquaintance, is intended to define the business relationship between you. It should be prefaced by saying, hey, this little meeting will give you a clear idea of what you can count on me. And let me share some things that I'd like to be able to count on you for you, okay? My responsibility is to help you achieve your career goals. I really believe this is important to that objective. Let's take about 30 minutes and really go through it, okay? Guys, you're gonna need to see your new partners, 2, 3, 4 times before they start their career. We just are, and it takes some time. Take them out in the field with you. Multitask, cover this stuff over lunch, okay? Meet them for coffee. But the more you can get with people, guys, the more folks you're going to have go through the pipeline. stick around, and they're going to do it in 2 weeks like they need to and move on and become great agents. So the 4 things you can count on me, and then ask them, why don't you jot these down? And let's talk about each one. Okay. Encourage them. Hey, have a notebook, have a real simple, composition book where you keep all your notes in one place for conference calls and our meetings and follow days and Zoom meetings and all that. Great information. Human brain only retains about 10% of what you hear unless you write it down. So write things down. One is, I'm always going to level with you. What does that mean to you? Okay, let them answer. Then when they do say, that's good, do you mind if I share with you what I think, what that means to me? And then dig in. Okay, I'll never ask you to do anything I'm not willing to do myself. If I'm asking you to work 8 or 9 hours, you can count on me to work 10 or 11. Okay, why do you think I say that? Okay, I'll always believe in you and what you can become. That might sound a little corny, but it's going to mean a lot more to you during those times when you may not even believe in yourself as much. And we've all been through those times. And share with them some of the challenges you went through and how someone paid it forward and helped you through those tough times. And I'll always be positive around you and other team members. What does that mean to you? Okay. Now, on the other hand, because there are about 6 things I need to be able to count on from you too. And the reason I do is because if you'll do these things, you will be very successful. Okay. 1, and guys, this is where, again, you're helping. You're now the 3rd person that's mentioned this. Nicole said it. I've said it. Now you're saying it. But 1 is that you will move rapidly and aggressively through the licensing course and take the exam in 2 weeks or less. Okay. From your hire date. So if they were hired yesterday, hey, you got 13 days. That means you need to be about 30 to 40% done, a couple days from now. That's going to take some digging in this weekend and really putting in 3 or 4 hours each day. Okay. People who lollygag on this don't normally make it. All right. Number 2 is you'll study really hard in Sales Academy and before Sales Academy to memorize your sales presentation. Why do you think that would be important? Let them answer. Okay. 3 is you'll listen to my suggestions. You know a lot more about it than I do on some things, but I've been out there. I definitely know this business and I can help you be successful. 4, you'll do your best and work really hard. The most successful people in our program, they work 8 to 10 hours per day, 40 to 60 hours per week at the beginning. Okay. That's what it takes to show the policy 30 or more times. Okay. If you just go to work, you can't lose. All right. Yes, if you work harder than you feel like and want to now, you'll be able to work a little less hard later. Okay. 5, you'll always level with me. How do you feel about that? Explain to them, discuss what that means. Shoot me straight. Let me know when there's problems. Okay. The only problems I can't help solve are the ones I don't know about. Okay. I need you to let me know when something's coming up because stuff will come up. Okay. And 6, that you'll stay positive around other members of the team. That doesn't mean you'll never get discouraged. Okay. It just means that you'll talk out any problems with someone who can help. Okay. And that's me or Van or someone in a leadership position. You don't puke on your coworkers. Okay. Does that make sense? Okay, great. How do these sound to you? May sound a little funny now, but I think as we work together, it's going to mean a lot more to you. Okay. Again, my number 1 goal is to help you achieve success and help you achieve your goals. All right, guys, that was I did that in 5 minutes. That's a 30-minute chat that should be a dialogue, not a monologue, the way I just did it right there. But guys, I'm going to be letting them know that you'll be having this conversation. Okay, guys, that's to help them remind you, to help create this habit. But guys, create the habit. Set an alarm that goes off in your phone at least once a week that says, go through Protect One Family Creed with any new agents. Some weeks you won't have a new agent and you can just ignore it. Weeks when you do, it'll be, oh crap, that's right. I need to cover that with Steve, the new guy. So, but guys, by the same token, if I say, hey, Josiah's going to want to cover this with you, Steve, the Creed, and then Steve goes through Sales Academy and never gets this covered with him, he's going to be, he could think, oh man, what else is being skipped, right? So trying to set you guys and tee you guys up for success with that, but that's something that's going to be different because again, we've had 7 or 8 candidates just in the last month that are just lollygagging through the deal. And we hit lulls, we hit peaks and valleys with recruiting. Right now it's a little bit, it gets weird sometimes, but where there's things that we can do And we do know if we just keep doing the exact same thing, we're going to keep getting the exact same results. So this is something that's that we can control and we can do. Guys, any questions, concerns, comments? Anybody done this with somebody before? Brian, I know you have.
I have,
With
yeah,
Brian.
man, I have. And thank you for like teeing that up, because I actually, Sierra just reached back out to me and said that, hey, Van also mentioned that something about a mantra that we got to discuss or something. So she's, I mean, it works. First person, she's, as you're going over this, she's like, hey, Van wanted us to get together and do something. And I was like, yep, we will.
Yeah.
So that's awesome.
So guys, there's a really good chance that all 10 of the people that are in that pipeline report right now, none of them have gone over this yet. So someone's on your in your pipeline, go over it with them. And if somebody started with you in the last 6 months and you didn't cover it with them, go ahead and cover it with them. Just say, hey, this is something I probably should have covered with you at the beginning, but you know what, just because I didn't doesn't mean I never want to. I want to go ahead and do that now. Let's sit down and have a chat. Guys, I'll go away from that knowing that you care, and people don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. So let's show them, and let's do like Curtis said. And, leadership is hard, but let's be a servant leader and put other people first, be unselfish, and good things happen. The more we give, whether it's our resources, money, time, the more we give, guys, the more there is. So guys, thanks for being on today. Happy Friday. Let's finish the week strong. Just real quickly, just so everybody knows where everybody is right now, week to date. I'm just going to scroll through it super fast. But right now, let's see here. Robles, 7,000. Trish Mosier, 6,700. Maria, just under 6,000. Tanya Christensen, 5,400. Casey's at 3,000. Josiah's at 2,000. Melanie Gray's at 1,500. Renee Vaught, 1,270. BJ's at 1,062. Ben Ryan, new guy, sold 1,010 yesterday in his first day on the field. Juan Martinez got his first app of the week yesterday, sitting at 700. Brian's at right just under 700. Todd is at 650. Victor Hertuck's got one app this week for 560. Everybody else is on zero, guys. Chris Vino, Mari Sanchez, Travis Allen, Charlie Griffin. Yeah, everybody else is on zero. So just something to be aware of, and let's act accordingly with that information. Okay. Bye, guys.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye, guys.